Hello, and welcome to Metron's podcast series, Round the Water Table, your source for utility and real estate water resource management knowledge. My name is Carson Sorby, a project manager in the Customer Excellence team here at Metron. Today, we are joined by Amy Mustoe, our Vice President of Customer Excellence, whose mission is to put the customer first in everything Metron does. And that's what we'll be talking about today. Welcome, Amy.
Thanks, Carson.
So, Amy, thank you for joining me here today. First question for you, we're going to kick things off with just a brief description of Metron's Customer Excellence team.
Sure. So our customer excellence team is somewhat unique in the fact that we are involved from the time a pilot happens, meaning a sort of a test of our system, all the way through the customer lifecycle. So the first part is we have, an experienced, I'd call sales engineer that is working through the pilot to make sure a customer is seeing what they need to see in order to invest what they is needed for the product and the service. Once the sale happens, we bring in a experienced project management team, and they are taking from start to finish, making sure from the time that we ship the product to the time that we are fully using WaterScope and billing our customers, making sure everything goes smoothly. In the middle of that, we typically have, if we are doing the install, which we do all different types, we can do the install, you can have a contractor do the install, but we do a significant amount of installs for our customers. And we have an experienced field service team that we put on the ground. So think of, a support team that can answer any questions about our meters, but they're on site and they're working with the utility team and the real estate teams on site to make sure that they understand how to service the meters, how they're installed, any sort of questions about any type of meter, whether it be commercial or sub-meter, anything to do with that. And so they are on site and make sure everything's reading into our system and working well. And then once, everything's installed, we have a pure onboarding, training of the software, making sure that the billing files work, whether there's an integration, making sure all of that is done. And then it moves on to what we call kind of a customer care stage, where customers can call in, email tickets in, or talk to their sales rep that will then pass it over to us to troubleshoot anything that may be happening with their meters, any reporting that they need, any questions that they have about the service. And then thirdly, we have a customer success managers. So for our customers that are in need, typically larger customers who they need, additional reporting, and they need they have many sites, or they are doing more of the strategic review of the account. So weekly, monthly meetings, talking about, what kind of value they are getting from the system, taking it back to leadership at our customers, and being able to tell the story of where the Metron meters, how are they making a difference on recapture rate? How are they making a difference on finding leaks? So again, sometimes, we need all pieces and parts to work together to tell that story. And we're there to help with that as well.
Awesome. When you got here, Amy, what was the status of these functions and how have they changed?
Sure. When I got here, the utility vertical and the real estate were very separate and bifurcated. And so when I showed up, I realized that we would have a lot of economies of scale if we combine the teams. It's essentially some of the same products. The personas are different between utility and the real estate side. But all in all, the teams were melded together, which provided a much more depth in what we could provide our customers.
Yeah. Within the groups of customer excellence, which teams do they partner with the most within Metron?
Sure. I think it's everybody. So we are in the entire journey. So from the time that the sales team is handing off maybe a new customer or a new sale, or it's working with the product teams to make sure that we are providing the latest and greatest experience to our customers, working with the marketing team to do podcasts such as this. Really, all the way around, we are providing the vision of the customer experience to the rest of the organization. So every touch point that we have, we're trying to infuse the customer in that. And since everyone touches our customers, whether they're actually speaking with them directly or indirectly through their job, we're trying to spread that vision of, be thinking about how this is affecting the customer.
Which key metrics do you use or best believe represent the customer at Metron?
Sure. So we try to look at how we can get our customers to see the value of Metron products and services as quickly as possible. So during the install or the onboarding process, we're looking to make the gaps between the time that you buy and the time that you're actually able to, say, bill your customers or detect leaks or things like that as small as possible or as quick as possible. So we have project managers in place that are managing every step of the way as customers are onboarding. On the support side, as you have an issue with your meter or a warranty that you need processed or any of that kind of stuff, we have SLAs around that, meaning, we like to get to our customers. One, if they call in, we like to answer the phone right when they call. Mm-hmm. If not, we like to follow up immediately to make sure we're solving their problem. And then ticketing, we like to get back within 24 hours. And then for most things, we're able to solve the issues right away and get customers moving in the right direction. Or there could be, a longer need where we're following up and making sure, customers are satisfied with the responses that they're getting. So we're looking at surveys and making sure we're taking the feedback that our customers are giving us, and then changing any of the processing that we need based on that feedback.
And how does the feedback differ between lines of business? Because I know we've talked about real estate and utility. What are some of the biggest differences there?
Sure. So on the utility side, we're typically the persona or the customer that we're dealing with is what we call a water person, meaning it's usually not their first time, one with meters, installing, servicing, or customers, the questions that they have. So when we might be working at like a higher level or a more experienced level with somebody who's trying to perfect things or do things at a large scale. When we're talking about real estate, we're talking about probably MHPs, so mobile home owners, or commercial buildings. And those folks are not always water people because they're dealing with everything that has to do with owning the property. And water is only one facet. One of their most expensive, one of the things that is most expensive. So what they are really looking for is somebody to guide them, give them advice, make sure that they understand the best practices. And so, again, sometimes needs to have different types of conversations and different types of training. So we try to tailor it to our audience so that we are providing not too high level, not too low level, but just what's needed. Also down to the consumer level. So we do have consumers that call us who have a water meter, and they have questions that are different from a park manager and different from a utility. So we're answering questions about their meter and the usage of the water that they are consuming. So all different personas, all different people that we need to make sure we're talking their language.
Mm-hmm. What is the approach across different lines for utilizing the data that we provide?
Sure. So again, if you're the consumer, you want to know if you're over-consuming and maybe if there's a leak in your house and you're going to get a big water bill, right? If you are a utility, you want to see the leaks, but you also want to know what the consumption is. So you are you're wanting to make sure that the meter's reading, there are no issues with it, no connection issues, and you want to make sure that you're getting all those reads. From a park manager, you might be looking at one of your biggest expenses is probably leaks in the infrastructure, and so you're looking at WaterScope to see, where are there leaks? Where do I need to fix things so that overall the entire expense of water is at its minimum?
And how do we utilize AI just as we change as a company, as the world around us changes? How does our customer excellence team plan to utilize AI to better service our customers?
Yeah, so we're already using data analytics in such a way where we're able to give additional insights to customers, whether it's utilities, real estate, park owners, say, or consumers, on how the water is being used. So whether it's being used, indoors, outdoors, what times of the day, what's normal across our entire sort of fleet of meters. And then even we're able to ingest data from even meters that are not Metron meters. So customers that have multiple meters from different vendors, we're able to accept that data and be able to give, information across all up to 1 minute data across all of our fleet and our competitors' fleet. So again, being able to really give people the data that they need to make decisions about saving water and buying water.
And what is one thing that Metron's customer excellence team does better than anyone else that sets us apart from our competition?
Sure. I think the part of it is that we sell, we onboard, we install, and we service. So everything is done at Metron. And so we have the ability to be firsthand with our customers. There is no middleman. There is no additional person to talk to. Somebody at Metron can help install, onboard, sell any meter that we have. And so I think it's that direct line, and we're able to tailor our service. We're small enough, but big enough, and so good in both ways, to where we can tailor it to types of customers as well as the type of service that we would provide. So self-service for those people that want self-service, and then hands-on sort of hand-holding, really service for those customers that really need that type of help. So I think that's sort of our secret sauce.
I love it. Well, that wraps it up for today's podcast. Thanks for watching or listening, and we hope you found it helpful. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Round the Water Table.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.